So I reiterate here, the bill is dead.
The story of this great city is about the years before this night. We are free!
Hey everybody, it's a new episode of Ho Ho Hong Kong. I'm your host, Mohammed Magdi, and moment of silence, everybody. This is sometimes we start, jokey. Today we're having a proper moment of silence for Vivek's ankles. Vivek totally messed up his ankles. If you have been on his Instagram, you might see a horrific photo of his legs both just blown out. If you can identify a bit of sound, a tingle of joy in my voice, that's because yes, I'm very happy that this happened to him. Because as you know, he's my mortal enemy, and now I'm getting some of his gigs. So, it's just a pure win for me. And also I don't get to talk to him for a while. Obviously, it's very sad that all of these things that people have to say politely so they can look good. But no, I went over to his bed and I'm like, haha, you suck. And, stop doing too much and all of these things. And, if you play back many of our episodes when I'm like, you're working yourself to death, here is proof. And I hate to say I told you so, but I fucking told you so, Vivek. You should chill out. Actually, I will let him tell the story when he's back on in 4 to 6 weeks, unfortunately. It's very sad. But no, he's doing fine. Man, I can't stop laughing at him. He's doing fine and all of these things, good spirits, blah, blah, blah. So Vivek blown out both his legs, which means he can't even walk to the studio in his own house to record, which means I have the liberty of talking to whoever the hell I want. Actually, people might know that I already do book the guests when we have guests on. So that doesn't change, except that he doesn't have to interrupt me anymore with his random, what do you call? Like when you're running off on a thought for like 7 to 8 minutes. No, you can talk, Ben. It's okay. People know there is a guest because there is a title.
It's called a tangent.
Tangents, that's the word.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I just had the two big pockets of falafel, and I'm very... I see. I can't even talk. What's the word when you have too much food, Ben?
This is Jeez, man! You brought me here as a translator to translate
Ben
English to English.
For this.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
When you're just way too slow and had too much food. Also, so stereotypical of me. I just came here. I'm like, I'm full of falafel. So anyway, I decided. I'll fill you guys in a bit. While talking to Ben as well about the Joe Wong shows and. The crazy scale that we did the shows on and how cool it is. But I would like to apologize because I did mention the podcast group that Joe would be the guest. And unfortunately, we just didn't have time. Like there was crazy rain. Or if you remember, it's probably raining right now whenever you're listening in Hong Kong. It has been raining for the last 3.5 fucking business years. Just because of the rain and all of this, we just really didn't have time to get the recording done with Joe. He was really interested. I'm so sorry. I just couldn't make it happen. And it's also because Vivek had the equipment and he couldn't even move. Not blaming him, just saying that there was a whole lot of logistical nightmares happening. So today I'm talking to my buddy Ben Quinlan. Ben is Hong Kong famous, LinkedIn famous, and stand-up comedy famous. A lot of titles on this guy. He is one of the earlier guests. I think you were a guest on episode, I don't remember, what is it?
I don't know, 7,100. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the earlier guests on the podcast. We're bringing back on just to chat with him. So he is my co-host / guest. And also we have a big announcement for Ben that we'll do in a little bit. But Ben, how are you doing, man?
Good. Never seen someone laugh so much at someone's misfortune.
I know. Yeah, that's when you know it's like, you roast the ones you love kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's when you know it's true
sure. I hope you don't love me anytime soon.
I'm like, finally, Ben got in an accident. Let me DM his wife real quick, see how she's doing.
Yeah, but Vivek, all the best to you, man. I hope you recover soon. And I'm not laughing or smiling while I say that.
He was. I just muted his microphone. He just kept waving me to not show his laugh. But man, good to see you as always. You have been, I want to say you've been busy, but you have always been busy since I met you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm juggling quite a few things. So, business is taking up a lot of time, and it means I haven't been back on stage as much as I want to be. But
Yeah.
you saw me the other week, which is good.
Yes.
It's always nice to shake off the cobwebs and tell a few jokes and,
Yeah.
remind myself that that's a really fun part of my life, right?
Yeah, you should. Yeah, I mean, I would say like it doesn't matter how much money you make or whatever. It's like if you're not having fun in the process, and if your fun is so limited to just like chasing, just the next fortune, whatever it is, I don't believe it's worth it, in my opinion. Not that I even can relate to that.
You would
word.
say that, wouldn't you? No.
Yeah, but exactly. I just don't believe it's.
In all honesty, it's very true. I have a lot of friends and acquaintances that are very wealthy and not very happy. So it's the correlation between the two is, in terms of happiness, isn't that clear. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. So one of the things, I wanted to, obviously we're friends, we're chatting. One of the things that we talked about recently, like when we caught up right before the Joe Wang shows, and you saw me like quite stressed and like running around and stuff. You're like, you obviously are busy. I'm like, I'm busy and the business is doing relatively well in comparison to before. So I'm busy and relatively successful. Obviously everything is relative. And you're like, I'm like, I looked at you, I'm like, I am new to that word. You have been both for a very long time. So how do you advise someone like young like me, just a young startup guy, and you advise obviously, and you sit on boards for like startups and stuff. How do you tell young people, young entrepreneurs to manage this kind of like, when the curve is going up and you're like, oh my God, I'm getting overwhelmed. I'm not overwhelmed, but I am very aware of burnout. What advice do you give young people doing that?
Good question. I actually did a podcast a few months ago speaking specifically about burnout.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so there's no shortcuts in life. In general, I understand that most successful people, unless you're born into wealth or you are extremely lucky, most people work their asses off. And even those that are extremely lucky have put themselves in situations where they are more likely to be lucky than not, right? You can't sit at home and moan about things not going your way. They're usually out there and doing what's required. A lot of hustle, a lot of rejection, a lot of exhaustion, but you have to find moments where you give yourself a reprieve, recharge, resets. If you don't do that, you will hit a burnout moment. And it's very easy to reach burnout. I know a lot of founders, a lot of corporate executives that are just constantly exhausted.
Yeah.
And it drains all your happiness. And you're right. If you keep going after the next bucket of money, and then you get it, that you realize that each and every bucket of money doesn't actually make you incrementally happier.
Right.
There's a thing called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You basically got, your accommodation, your food, the shelter over your head, all of these kinds of things. When you've got your basic necessities sorted, everything else is just a little perk or bonus. And, I think it's important. Perspective is very important.
Yeah, I mentioned this on the podcast before, but to you, I'm saying that I watched the documentary on the DJ Avicii recently. Have you watched that?
I haven't seen the doc, but
It's
I definitely know
very,
Avicii.
very good because, it's basically celebrating his life more than anything else. And, there is like a lot of interviews with him throughout his life. And one of the things that stuck with me is him saying, my only goal was to not worry how much the cab is anymore. And then everything else after that didn't really matter. He's like, I just wanted to get from place to place and be like, I don't have to worry. So basically, once I had my own car, he ended up with like a 50 million US net worth. And he's like, it's like, it was nice. But obviously, given his ending, it's a proof that he actually didn't really.
I agree. I can promise you that money takes away certain aspects of stress.
Yes.
So things
to
that you
him,
don't
it's
have to-
just getting from one place to another.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then as soon as you get money, there's different stresses that come as a result.
Please tell me about it because I have no idea.
Well, again, you're constantly chasing, right?
Right.
You set your benchmark, and human beings naturally want to achieve. You don't want to go down vis-a-vis what you did last year. You want to be a consistently better version of yourself.
Yes.
More earning power, more successful. It's ingrained in all of our psyche. So it's very easy to get stuck in this rat race and not take a step back.
Yeah.
Like if I were to have spoken to myself, say 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even 3 years ago, and said, Ben, this is where you would be in 3 to 5 years, I would be really happy to know that I would have achieved those things. I would have thought, no way. But then you're in the moment and then you lose that perspective again. So you always have to just take a step back and remind yourself, and sometimes give yourself a little pat on the back and say, good job, you did it. And it's very hard to sit there and congratulate yourself, right?
That's it. I think that's you hit the nail on the head there, because I think having a support system is really important.
Extremely.
And people are like your cheerleaders, basically. People are like, in our culture now, there's a lot of like, TikTok motivational people or whatever. They go like, you're your biggest, and there is something cheesy about it, but there is also something that actually is true, I believe. You're like, you take stock of exactly what you said. It's like, would I have imagined myself doing this, whatever this is now, 3 years ago, like literally like last year? And it's like,
Exactly.
how come I'm not even going like, oh my God, this is amazing. I had right after the Joe Wang shows, I had our buddy Chris Musney, who's a close friend of mine. He was sitting in the audience, and he sent me a photo of myself performing to a show that I produced, and basically filled the venue with so many people for Joe and for myself. And he sent me a photo of me on stage, and with just one message, it goes, 1 year ago, we were performing to 3 people at Lips, which was this terrible bar at the Grand Hyatt. And he just reminded me, 1 year ago, 3 people sitting in the audience were like, hello, is this anything? And now we have like freaking 800 people.
And Chris was one of the 3. So
yes, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, there was Chris, Annie, and
2
me.
staff
We just
members.
it's actually it's the 3 of us. The total performance. And I'm like, that's the perspective. You're like, oh my God, yes, you're right. And you need people like this. And I suppose you have friends in the business as well. Is it kind of cutthroat in as
Well, a lot of it has to come internally. I'll ask you a question, Mo. It's like a lot of people have those friends that will come visit you in hospital when something goes bad. You might be lucky to count 5 of those people on one hand. And then I would ask you, of those 5, how many of them can you call when something really good happens to you? I mean it.
Yeah.
How many would you call to say, hey, Ben, you never would have guessed I got this thing. I'm so happy. And that person would genuinely be happy for you.
Yeah.
Most people don't have those people in their lives.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to
I can think of
share.
like, as you said, like if I can think of the people who would visit when something bad, which would be quite a lot, you're right. The people who I would call back, I'm like, guess what happened? It would be less than, a lot less than those people.
A lot less. You'd be lucky to have 1.
Yeah.
Really.
I'm not going to mention names, but I can think of like 4 or 5 people who I'd be like, oh, I would call and be, which I guess, again, puts it in perspective, makes me lucky.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's a lot of people who would be very happy for me, or like kind of like, cheering me on.
Genuine happiness. No jealousy, no anything.
Yeah.
Just genuinely happy for you. And it's important to find those people. But look, at the end of it, I still think it's really important just to have that perspective for yourself, right? It's the battle that you go through with yourself. I would say the worst friend to you is your own mind. You would talk shit about yourself all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, you would just be defeatist. Like everyone does it. Even very successful people do it. And we have this lingering doubt that keeps creeping in our heads.
It's the inferiority complex, imposter. Yes.
Peter principle, like you name it. Not the pedo principle, the Peter principle. But I mean,
that's the title of this episode. Pedo principle with Ben Quinlan.
But it's really important to remember that everyone goes through these similar things, and most of the time you're beating yourself up. You would just consider yourself a shit friend if you know the way that you spoke to yourself and treated yourself. You would be like, this is a really shit friend. So just be a better friend to yourself.
That's really, really accurate. I think I was also like, reading something about how if you tell somebody, hey, I have a friend who keeps saying all of these things about me, they'd be like, that's not a good person. Like, don't surround yourself with this person. And that's your own mind. Who's always, you're waking up every day like, you suck, no one likes you, you're a fraud, you are this and that. And I think that's probably the hardest battle, honestly. It's like the battle of like, waking up and like getting yourself on board with what you're doing.
Of course. And especially because we live in the age of social media where we wake up, we then look at our phones immediately. We're spending 7-8 hours a day on our telephones.
Yeah.
And we're looking at everyone's highlight reel and comparing it to our lives.
Not the 2 of us, though. We have our own little gifts that we send each other.
That does bring joy. But how do you get perspective when your perspective of the world is everyone else doing awesome.
Yes.
And it's really, really hard sometimes to just take stock and be like, this is a filtered view of everything.
100%.
It's a filtered view because they literally got a filter on it as well. This isn't even what they look like.
No.
So you always have to remember that everyone goes through their own battles. Everyone has their own demons.
Not just that, to your point, also there are people who luckily I know them in person, and I know that view is not just like the opposite or whatever or exaggerated. I'm like, I know you're depressed.
Yeah.
Like I know you're a very sad person.
yeah.
Not that this is good or bad. I'm like, this is because if a stranger is looking at their lives and all they're seeing is like traveling first class and eating and this and that, and you're like, and everyone, of course, you're like, I want this person's life. But I'm like, only if you know that this person spends like 10 hours every day just crying on their bathroom floor, you would never want that life.
Yeah.
Right.
And everyone sees it's a success, but they don't see all the work that goes into it.
Yeah.
And one of the partners that works with me in this business, he runs our corporate training arm, Michael Campion, brilliant. And he always says, talent is practice in disguise, right? So every time you see people, like if someone goes and watches you on stage and thinks, oh, is Mo lucky just now? No, I mean, you've been doing this 10 years, 12 years, I don't know how long, but just honing that craft day in and day out. And usually it's the understanding that people have put in so much time, effort, and energy behind the scenes that is not on the highlight reels. It's the unglamorous stuff. It's it's all the things that make you that better version of yourself. So it's hard, but that's the unfiltered version of life.
I am attracted a bit to the unfiltered version though. Like when I'm watching stories of people coming up, like story of like someone like Paris Hilton versus someone like I don't know who came from like nothing or whatever. Like I just watched that I remember Paris Hilton because I watched it not long ago, and it was just like someone who's born into money, and it's like that obviously has its own set of struggles and everything.
Sure.
But I'm like I just can't relate to it because I'm like you were given this and your struggle was to kind of maintain it / live with it / have your mental health in check. But there's a lot of people that I look up to that are just like, oh, you are. Yeah, that's you had to build all of this and also not lose yourself or lose your mind in the meantime, because some people make it really big.
I agree. Well, as Jimmy Carr had the best line, he said, the joy is not in having stuff, it's in getting stuff.
Yes.
I love that. It's so spot on.
Yeah.
To know that you've, just having things and being given to you, you don't appreciate them. You can't appreciate the struggle, the work, or the effort that was required to get to where you are. But I think that level of grit, it goes to, the word, it's a very, very famous TED talk done on it that differentiates founders that are ultimately hyper successful versus those that are not. And the word that they used is grit. It's just that persistence, the tenacity to just keep going.
Yeah.
And no one knows just how many failures I go through all the time, how many projects don't go through, how many times I lose to a competitor. Happens all the time. And it's just how you manage that process. And what used to defeat me before, I don't know, I give myself 30 seconds to huff and puff, and then you just get on with your day because no one's going to rescue you.
No, exactly. That's another thing about, like, especially a city like Hong Kong, where you don't really have too much of a safety net. Like the government, not to just, whatever, trash the like, not like there are other places in the world where you can kind of rely a little bit on like a certain level.
A better social security net.
Correct.
Right?
And I don't believe, I'm not a citizen here, I don't know the full spectrum of things, but I don't believe that exists here to a big extent.
No,
right?
I mean, fruit money for the pension is what, $1,600 a month for old age allowance. That's going to go a long way, right?
Yeah, especially if you're like, if you don't own your house or, you have to pay rent in some place far away. That's impossible almost.
Yeah.
Which is why you see, the people collecting cardboard boxes and stuff like this, because literally it's very sad.
It's sad. And, when we're now in this new wave of, this new generation coming through, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, I feel for them because how are they ever going to own their own home? You think about it. And And the whole culture that's permeated is like in China, there's the lie flat generation, right? It's just giving up. I'm not going to be able to own anything. Everything's too expensive.
Yes.
I'm just going to try and enjoy my life. You have more kids moving back into their homes with their parents, right? It's just the realities of the current environment make it extremely difficult for this next gen. And this is why all these businesses have popped up that are giving them these instant riches kind of, dream, crypto. You don't have to work, just trade, 100x your investment, there's a lot
and then people fall for scams because of that. Because they're chasing that.
But when you feel so trapped and you feel like this could be my escape route, I can empathize to some degree why people do it. But I think in the vast majority of cases, 99.9%, you are dealing with people that if you want to ultimately be successful and financially secure, you have to work hard. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You do have to work hard, put in the reps,
Which gets us to today's sponsor, the Jockey Club. No, it's not. This is a good time. They are doing great.
The gambling monopoly in Hong Kong.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I do have good things to say about the Jockey Club because at least they donate a huge amount of the proceeds to charity. And that for me is a game changer. They're one of the best things to happen to Hong Kong, the medical services, all the things that they provide.
Man, a lot of the theaters who are booking are Jockey Club theaters as well.
Absolutely.
And it's like, exactly. Like you're giving back.
Yes.
You are, people are addicted to gambling and all of that. At least it's going back.
Gambling is horrendous. I'm from Australia, the highest per capita gambling spend in the world. The world.
Every time I went to Australia, I would always buy these scratchies, call them. They're so fun.
Yeah. But you go to the news agent, you basically, here's lotto tickets behind you, scratch this, scratch that. There's screens all around you, bet on this horse race. You can bet on ping pong in the middle of Uzbekistan, right?
Wow.
Like, there's everything happening that you can just bet.
Yeah.
And I've seen how much gambling destroys people. Right?
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I traveled in Australia quite a bit, and we would drive from Melbourne to Sydney and back. That's quite a long drive, and you stop by a lot of small towns.
Yep.
And I'm like, if you're gambling, I get it, man. What else would you do?
What are you going to do? It's the only tax-free income in Australia as well.
But it's also, there is absolutely nothing. It's like, how do people live here?
Yeah, exactly. You talk to the same trees.
Let's talk a little bit about your upbringing. You grew up in Sydney.
No, I grew up in Hong Kong. Born and raised here.
You're born here, but did you spend any time properly in Australia?
I did. So my family shipped me there when I was 12 to go to boarding school.
Hilarious. Use the word shipping.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, freighted me there.
Yes.
So I was there from 12 until 26. So I did my high school, did my uni, started
Sydney.
my career. Yeah. And then I came back to Hong Kong 2009.
How is it like? Because Sydney is quite a nice city, but off record, we spoke a bit about you find it, I guess, a bit more dull than Hong Kong. Not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, are you talking about the nightlife or just the general culture or what
the
is
day
it?
life too?
Yes, the general life.
It's pleasant. It's pleasant, but Sydney is not. It's very cosmopolitan. It's got a great standard of life.
Yeah.
Things are now really expensive there.
Yeah.
I'm talking about home ownership in particular. Tax is extremely high, 46.5% is the top rate.
Yeah.
And that's not just your income. It's also after you put that money in the bank and you earn interest, that's also taxed at the top rate. And then your dividends and then your capital gains. So I always say you can earn money in Australia, you just can't keep it. So that's the one difference. But I enjoyed my life there. It was very good for my studies. It was good to focus. You didn't have all of the distractions that you would in a place like Hong Kong.
Right.
And I developed some wonderful friendships over the time I was there. So whenever I go back, I reconnect with all those friends, which is great.
I had a moment when I was sitting on a beach in Sydney where it's not Bondi. It's one of the beaches kind of outside. And
Manly?
I remember. Sorry?
Manly
Beach. That's the one. Yeah, and we're sitting kind of higher up, kind of bit of a hill.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the ocean. And then I saw a whale fin pop out.
Yeah.
And I told my girlfriend at the time, I'm like, is that a whale? And she didn't see it. And as if the whale wanted to show itself and it just flapped its fin again. And I'm like, I would never see, not just that I would never see that in Hong Kong, but it's
plastic bag.
Yes, exactly. It's a freaking drunk canoer just floating around dying.
Yep.
But there is something, I'm sitting here on a random day and I'm just seeing a whale, which is so cool.
I agree.
But it's also like, yeah, sometimes you feel like, you know, obviously the grass is always greener. I feel like at this moment, it's like, what would I be like if I'm just living there and just
Sure.
like that's my day, just like looking at whales and like, you know, playing on the beach.
You'd be a lot more simple.
Yeah.
Playing with the beach. Okay.
Playing
Building
with the beach.
sandcastles. There you go.
Yes.
It's beautiful. And I think the mindset that I had in Australia was a lot less complicated than coming back to a place like Hong Kong where everything is go, 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 go.
Yeah.
Right? It's very cutthroat. I enjoyed it. But for my career and what I was trying to do, it wasn't a good place to build my career in my view. So maybe someday in my life, sure, I can go there. Maybe retirement, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe if there's an opportunity to set up an office there, who knows, right? But I always like Australia's got a special place in my heart.
Well, I mean, to this point as well, I do believe that I would have never learned as much as I have, just like even just not just business, but like life-wise, if I wasn't here, just because of the pace of how much you're learning every day about even like social things, about like efficiency, about like learning to say goodbye to people, about how you like, at least for me as an expat, and you are basically a local, so I think maybe the perspective could be a bit different. For me, and in Shanghai it was the same, but here is more, because it feels so transient, especially after COVID.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of people are like leaving, and you're like learning like who is worth investing time and energy in.
Yeah.
Right? And who is like how to be okay with like, oh, I made a wrong investment, basically, whether it's a business or work or whatever. And as you said, like people don't see that on the outside. They're seeing your LinkedIn page and how much you are, you know, how the people don't post about their failures, right? No, that's actually really interesting, because I did like a deep dive, and you can probably see from my profile, I'm not active at all. And I did a deep dive, not just on your profile, but like other like-minded people. And yes, there's something, Instagram and Facebook and stuff does have a side of like people are whining. And they're like, you know, everything's wrong, especially with the stand-up business. Like people now, like as we're recording, people are in Edinburgh Fringe. And if I show you some of the posts, we'll just like be cackling, laughing, because it's just people bitching about how there is 0 people who came to the show. And I'm like, why? First, why are you bitching about it?
Right.
Second, why did you do it? And
Right.
third, are you not a stand-up? Like, this is just how it works. But as opposed to like LinkedIn is a lot of people like, oh my God, this is how I succeeded. Here's my secrets and stuff like this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do have my own piss take on LinkedIn, because it is a bit of humble brag claptrap.
Yes.
Everyone is so honored all the time and thrilled, just honored and thrilled persistently to get a certificate in sewing from the University of Nowhere, right? There's so much of this going on. I have here's me as a selfie, and I'm at a conference. I'm like, are you speaking at the conference? Did you share any insights?
Yeah.
LinkedIn has turned into a bit of, verbal diarrhea of people patting themselves on the back. And it does actually make me roll my eyes sometimes, but you know, each to their own, whatever.
I've never spoken to somebody who is LinkedIn popular, I suppose.
Oh Jesus!
I'm looking at your page, and you know, everything counts by followers now, and you're at 30 more than 37,000 followers, which is significant for, you know, if there is any individual with 37,000 people having the potential of seeing what they are posting or writing, that's big. Do you feel, when did it start, first of all? Like, you've obviously, as a business person, you've been on LinkedIn for a while. When did you start feeling like, you know, the people are engaging with the engagement is higher, and you're like, oh, I'm racking up followers?
Well, the nature of what I do, my company creates a lot of research and insights, and we post a lot of that. It's not about, here's a selfie of me doing something. It's what do we have to say to the world? What value or knowledge contribution can we make to the people on this platform that will make them more aware of what's going on, have better perspective? That's generally what we do. I think that a lot of the following actually came about because I'm not very... I would say I'm very mindful about what I post, but I'm also not scared to have an opinion. And I don't filter an opinion to the point that my opinion just disappears. If I have a strong opinion on something, I will say it. I will try and back it up as much as possible with objective facts and data and information. But I think that a lot of people are too scared sometimes to post their real thoughts online, especially in a corporate world, for fear of it having negative reputational repercussions
on their business or on their career, basically.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the nature of what I do is I run a consultancy. We're hired to provide an opinion, have an opinion.
Right.
I hate it when people say I'm
You're
cautiously
a professional opinion giver.
Well, it's just I'm cautiously optimistic. Well, all of these people that come out with a view that's not a view, and I believe, but maybe. And on the other hand, it's like, well, what's your actual opinion?
Yes,
and
there's a lot of abstract, I suppose, like opinions. And it's like you can't really hold them down on like, what are you actually trying to say?
Exactly.
Right.
It's just blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So
is it like diplomacy, or is it just like people are so used to like people like walking down the street, like, like they're really scared.
It's very scared. I think in corporate world, people are afraid of offending people. They can get blacklisted. They can get called out, because a corporate reputation may be different from a comedian reputation.
Yes.
It's very, very different. But again, I've always said to even my team, if we go out to market and have an opinion, say what you think. Like if you've done the homework, you've done the research, you've spoken to people in the market, you have utmost conviction about your position, put it out to market. And your job is not to please everyone. You will end up just
pissing everyone off, or
you end up exactly,
or losing yourself, and
you lose yourself. Yeah, that's the most important thing. You will absolutely lose sight of yourself and what you stand for. Yeah. So it's this whole idea of find your tribe, right? Not everyone needs to be a friend. Not everyone needs to like you. And I know there's a lot of people that may not like what I post or my opinion. It's okay.
I know a lot of people who don't like your comedy or your person.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of
my parents as well.
You have a lot of enemies. I don't know what you do.
It's all good, mate. I mean, you put yourself out there. You got to understand you're gonna have people that don't like your stuff. But if you take it personally, you're a fool.
No, yeah. Speaking of, I wanted to jump back to the Edinburgh thing. I found one of my favorite stories this year, and it's shared by our buddy Garen Chu. And the headline goes, Edinburgh Fringe performer in tears. This is, by the way, proper like news. It's from dailyrecord.co.uk. Some sort of publication.
Okay.
That is not small, I suppose. Tears after third of audience walk out. Okay?
Wow.
So first of all, this is a news story. Second, Nicole Nadler was performing her one-woman show. Funny, like unironically named Exposure Therapy, when she says a third of her audience walked out 15 minutes early. The story goes whatever, and then last night Nicole says 4 women told her she was a beautiful soul and they left, which also means the third of the audience was 4 people.
Yeah, relativity of numbers.
Having come to the venue late and only staying for a total of 20 minutes, she pledged with the Fringe audience, if you're seeing a show and you hate it, could you just stick it out?
Wow. Okay. Weren't those 4 people just late to a dinner booking? I mean, it's not the end of the world. Yeah.
No. Speaking of Edinburgh, she said, my biggest 2 fears were that no one comes, but obviously more than that I'm unable to pull off this crazy idea of a show, and that rejection and failure also scared me from doing the show that will happen. And it did, and it is gutting. I'm handled it well at the moment, and I'm really proud of that. I'll be back on stage in a few hours, ready to pour my heart out all over again. And this kind of story, it was a quiet show. I had 12 people altogether. It was one of the smallest audiences I've ever had. We've all performed to smaller audiences or whatever. What I think to have the balls to talk to the news about this, and for the news on the other hand to think this is a story. it just screams all kinds of wacko to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not some hate crime. I mean, people are allowed to leave a show. It is a bit peculiar. I don't get it. And you and I know. I mean, it's absolutely torture to go on the comedy stage. We've been there and had flat sets and jokes that just, oh gosh, you just want to seppuku yourself. Yeah, it's awful. So I get it. But taking it to the news is a bit weird.
Yeah. Someone goes, they couldn't give. She goes, they couldn't give me the decency of the next 10 or 15 minutes. If you're seeing a show and you hate it, you just stick it out, just out of kindness. And I think also out of kindness, you don't bully people into, you know.
I think it's the wrong profession.
Exactly, holding them hostage in your show.
Out of kindness, please let them leave.
But also out of kindness, they did. That's probably one of the funniest things to me. Is like all of them kind of picked up their stuff, looked at each other, and one of them said, "You're a beautiful soul," which is the equivalent, you know, when you're talking to somebody, you're like, you know, went on a date or whatever, and or met someone at a bar, and you go, "How are they doing?" Or like, "How are they?" You're like, "Such a good personality." This is the equivalent of that in stand-up. Imagine being on stage and then the audience
Being called a beautiful soul.
"You're a beautiful soul."
Did you like my comedy? Again, you're a beautiful soul. Well, it's kind of like when I finished your show. When I finished up the last show I was with you at, I was standing outside, and then someone came up to one of the other comics I was speaking to, and was just constantly praising them. And that's the worst feeling when you're standing right next to a comic, and you're like, you know, I was performing too.
Yes.
But it's good.
I had one
Makes me laugh.
comedian, Paulo Gada, absolute freaking
Killer.
monster on stage. He came through Shanghai years ago, and I was just standing with him outside. I was the opener, and the person came, like some audience member goes, like, "This was actually the best live show I've ever seen. Like you changed my perspective on things. You're so funny." I was crying, laughing, and she looked at me. She was like, "You were on stage."
Thanks.
You walked up on stage too.
One of the best ones I had was when I did a show with Pete Grella, and then someone came up to me right after the show and said, "Oh, your joke about the Empire State Building is my favorite joke."
Oh,
I go, "So your favorite joke of mine is a joke that this guy did."
Which you both have nothing in common at all. You're not alike. He has hair. You are young. Both of you are like younger.
I found that a real compliment.
Speaking of show, we're kind of gearing up to basically your biggest show in Hong Kong to date. I will give a little bit of backstory on how this. We have talked for a long time about producing like a one-man, like a theater show for you. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this is also your Comedy Central set from years ago. You looked like one of the more comfortable comedians on like a stage with like cameras and stuff. Is that because of the nature of your public speaking sometimes in your job that you're that comfortable?
Yeah, I don't really get shy, so to speak. I enjoy performing arts, right? I really enjoy it because as long as you know you're there to entertain people and people are there to have a good time, that's always what you have to keep in the back of your head. So therefore, you've got to tell yourself you have a good time as well.
Yeah. Yes.
But if you're up there and you've got all the nerves around, it's just, again, framing what it is in your mind before you step out on the stage. And I've been doing a lot of the performing arts like since I was a kid. So,
how did that start for you?
well, my dad's a composer, right? So he's in the music business, and there's a lot of people that, you know, I was in a band. I used to sing and play guitar. I did a lot of the, you know, drama shows and plays when I was younger, TV commercials. I really enjoyed it. And speaking, like debating, right?
Yeah.
I enjoyed doing that as well. So
you can be quite argumentative if we get you in the right like debate mode.
Oh, it'd be very fun.
Yeah, it was super fun. I remember I was like having like, you know, long nights of just talking about absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
But it's so fun also to see kind of where you stand and just take a slightly different position just to keep you going.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. But now I understand. Did you go to like debate club? Like the
I was a debating team at school. So it's good practice, right? Obscure topics. Take the affirmative, take the negative, and you're like, oh. I remember it's like one of the debates I had is the car has done more harm than good. That was the topic, discuss. And I was in the affirmative. And it was just interesting to see how, like, we have cars everywhere. And now we have to take the other side of the argument. What are they going to say? How am I going to counter this? any position, and this is what's lost in today's age. No one understands the nuance of both sides of an argument.
Yes.
Like critical thinking, just understanding what's position A, what's position B, and then therefore what is my informed opinion. And social media just makes that worse. They just reinforce whatever position you have and shove that down your throat nonstop, such that you are just so ingrained in a way of thinking that if anyone says anything on the other side,
you're ready to
attack.
Yes. I actually do blame, obviously, social media is a big one.
Terrible.
But I genuinely blame American pop culture and American politics on that.
I agree.
Because it's like, it's so polarized.
Yes.
That like, it's impossible to, like, one of the comedians, Bill Burr, has like kind of like started taking this kind of middle of the road, kind of like, you know, it's very gray, like it's not about the color of the tie and all of these things, and now both sides hate him. And that's when you know he's right. That's when you know it's like, oh yeah, everybody in his comments now, you're a fucking cuck liberal piece of shit.
I agree.
And the other guys are like, you sold out, you have a black wife, how dare you? And he's like, all I'm saying is that the real enemy is not the other person on the other side of the aisle.
Of course,
is the billionaires and the politicians who are fucking you over, and you're saying I am a cuck, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, politics used to be about diplomacy. The word has no meaning anymore.
Yeah.
So sitting down and listening to people, usually if I'm in any kind of a debate or argument, I would want the other side of a table to exhaust their point to the end. Say everything you possibly can say. Let me hear it out, and then I'll respond. Usually I'll find some good points being raised, but I'll at least know you've given me all the ammo to come back with my position. If I start interjecting and cutting you off prior to you actually getting your point across, I actually don't know what you've said.
Yes, exactly. And you're right. Like, you're not fully aware of how much ammo they have left.
Yes.
Right? Going back to, when we're talking about like you being comfortable in front of a camera and all of that, and then there is only a few comedians currently in Hong Kong. Jordan Long left a while ago, but there's only a few comedians currently in Hong Kong who would have this kind of draw as well to perform a theater show, a spectacle of sort. And among the comedians currently based in Hong Kong, I have you and my Trekaranth both doing theater shows basically on the same week. So talking to you now, how do you envision like executing your set on the night? You have a lot of obviously like material that are quote unquote classics that we have seen you do, but at the same time you have quite a long period of time on stage, and also you're kind of an executive producer of the show as well. So you have full creative control over what happens. We can light up the audience, we can play fireworks. We shouldn't do that because liability, but there's a lot of stuff that we can't do.
What are you thinking about?
It's kind of fun to play with these kind of formats because, you know, when I used to work for Live Nation, we were really restricted on like, you know, corporate policy and stuff like this. But now we can do whatever we want. Did you try to imagine like the set on the night?
Genuinely, hand on heart, no.
Well, let's you know.
I think part of it is just saying, you know, how long have I been doing comedy for now? 12 years. So part of it is just trusting the instincts that things will come, and you can't plan everything. Sometimes things will go awry. I know there will be a bomb or two in the set. I look forward to it. And there'll be audience interaction. There'll be a mix of whatever just feels right. I think the only thing I'll be paying attention to is the audience laughing and having fun. And I will adjust the set accordingly. If they're not having fun, I'm not going to continue to go down a particular track which says, I have just ruined your night. Right?
Yes.
So that's all I do every single time I step out on stage. What's resonating with this audience, and then how do I just keep that energy, momentum going?
How do you, because you're one of the most successful stand-ups here in the scene, and I know you joke about like, you know, you being on a list and there's only like 6 comedians or whatever, but genuinely, even among the current working comedians, you're still one of the most successful ones. And this is obviously, I wouldn't say a hobby, but this is obviously a minor thing in the bigger scheme of all the things you're doing. How do you find the time to continue to be, and I'm not sitting here kissing your ass. It's just like, I'm a producer. It's a fact that when I have you on the show, I can relax. I can actually go outside, get some water, because I'm trusting the audience with Ben. He's not gonna self-sabotage. He's not gonna, you know, all of these things. Like we were joking about a comedian I'm not gonna mention, who is an absolute like risk liability on stage.
They're the funniest for the
They are the
comics.
funniest for the comics, but I can't keep booking. And I
know.
told them as much. I'm like, I can't keep booking you because I have no idea if the audience is gonna come screaming at me
yeah.
that they paid money and this is what they saw.
Yeah.
Right. But for you, it's the opposite. How do you keep? You don't have time. I'm looking at your current jobs, not previous jobs, and I'm looking at obviously you're CEO and managing partner of your own company, Quinlan Associates, but you're also sitting on, you're doing a lot of advisory board roles. How the hell do you find the time?
You make the time. You make the time for the things that are important. And I haven't made as much time as I would ideally want to for comedy. So it has taken a little bit of a backseat in the past year or two. I would say few years relative to, the time I had before. It's a natural trade-off in terms of focusing a little bit more on the business and these other things. But it's such an important part of my DNA.
Yeah.
It's such an important part of me. It's such a amazing thing every single time I hit the stage, and just that feeling that you get and seeing the joy that you bring to people. It's a drug, and every comedian knows that.
Yes. It's the bug.
It's a bug. Absolutely. So once you get that bug, you want to let go of it?
No. I think I'm just like amazed, while I'm looking at all the stuff you are currently doing. For example, you sit on the Hong Kong Tourism Board.
I'm an ambassador for
Right.
them. I don't sit on their board. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So just explain to me for the layman, what does that role mean exactly?
Well, a lot of these advisory or board positions, you're there in basically a more senior capacity to act as an advocate, to provide a steer, guidance, advice to either the government or the firms that I work with around some strategic decisions or directions that they need to move in. And usually it would be a combination of advice and advocacy. Right? So those are the main things that are done.
I'm trying not to get you in trouble here, but are they listening to you, Ben?
I have no idea.
No, but the reason I'm asking is like I've seen you post sometimes kind of being critical sometimes of the directions that even we're taking when it comes to tourism, when it comes to events and stuff like this.
Yes.
But I feel like because you're an advisor, I feel like, I would be frustrated if I'm writing these things or I'm telling it to them and they're just kind of ignoring you. Does that?
I think it's important to, again, going to what's your position.
Yes.
And I think part of being a good advisor is saying things that sometimes the client or the person that is getting the advice, it doesn't necessarily make them feel comfortable, but it is the right advice.
Yes.
No one likes to be critiqued.
Yes.
No one. You don't want to be critiqued.
No,
it doesn't
of course
feel
not.
good.
No,
I
it
don't want to
doesn't.
be critiqued. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Unless you take the mindset of, is this person genuinely critiquing me because they have my best interests at heart? And do they have the right motivations? Do they have the right kind of advice? Or are they doing this for the sake of just making my life more difficult or making things...
Or making me feel bad about myself, or they have ulterior motives, basically.
So you have to look at the motivation. It's kind of like in comedy. What is the motivation for this comic getting up and telling a really dark joke? It's not to offend people.
Yes.
It's to try and elicit that laughter.
Yeah.
Just like with my posts, sometimes I never try and post with an explicit view to throw anyone under a bus. I post with a view that, especially when it pertains to Hong Kong, and there's no one who more vocal who loves the city more than me.
Yeah.
And
I think you have proven that in so many ways, obviously from your public appearances and from the jobs that you're taking as well, that you are a big lover of the city.
I love the city. I'm a honky through and through. This is my home. But part of it being my home means I also need to leverage my skills, my knowledge, whatever it is, to try and add the right kind of value and contributions to either the public sector or private sector.
Yeah.
And it's okay if they don't like everything. Right?
Yeah.
It's all right.
You're sticking to what you believe is the right thing for the city as well.
True, but again, belief is a very loose term. So it's not opinion versus opinion. So my opinion is always grounded in facts and data. That's my job.
Right.
So I hate people that just come out with opinions without substantiating them. I always try and substantiate my opinions. And that's because I know at the end of it, my fact will always beat your opinion.
Yes, of course.
And vice versa, your fact will always beat my opinion.
Yeah.
So come armed with facts. And that's what I always try and do.
Yeah. to wrap things up, also the show that we have on Sunday 21st of
Yeah.
September, basically a month from now, is Ben Quinlan, the theater show. And it's like not just that, it's one of probably the biggest local productions we're gonna have for a Hong Kong-based comedian. It's also in a place that's quite special because that whole West Kowloon complex has been kind of like taking shape in the last few years after COVID. And it's really beautiful. Like the stuff that they have there. I was looking up, I think with you yesterday, we're looking at the Chinese museum, the Palace Museum Theater, because you have a separate event there, and we're like, this is so cool. There's just the place. Do you feel like it's something that, like, if you are to pick all the venues, and you didn't really get to pick this one because we just we're bound by venue availability here.
Sure.
But do you feel like this place kind of like speaks to how your love of Hong Kong as well?
Yeah, the venue. Look, it's kind of like high tech, right?
Yes.
We finally got a venue to hold the world-class events and sporting events, concerts. But again, it's not just the venue; it's the acts that we're bringing to the venue. I'm not saying I'm ratcheting it up a degree after Jimmy Yang and all these people. It's kind of like, let's take it down a notch. But I do believe it's very important to bring the right kind of entertainment into Hong Kong and international acts and things that just bring the city back to life. A lot of the vibrancy, I feel, has been sucked out of the city during those COVID years. And it was really a bit depressing.
It was a bit of a bummer.
Exactly. So whatever you can do to, entertain people here, keep boots on the ground, right? Stop going to Guangzhou or Shenzhen every weekend. Stay in Hong Kong. There's lots to do in Hong Kong, and there's things to do here that you can't get across the border, right? So Hong Kong has to find that DNA about what makes it special. Hopefully comedy is such a unique form of art, and it's something that there's more and more local comedians coming through, and they're great. There's a good future pipeline of talent, and I hope this can really be considered as one of the new mainstream forms of entertainment that the city gets behind.
That's genuinely what I've talked about this on a full dedicated episode about the comedy season. And actually I was quite amazed at how much support I'm getting from people who are really high up in the, venue, like stuff like, people who can make decisions and can get stuff done. They all went like, yeah, we need something like this, because I just saw a void in, as you said, like there is Clock and Flap, there is a bigger events, there's the Rugby Sevens, there is nothing like this. All I know how to do is comedy, not just even performing, but just production, putting stuff together. I'm like, we can use something like this. And I will also say that not just that we don't have this in Hong Kong, we don't have this in Asia.
In Asia, yeah.
The closest we have to something that like I'm trying to do is Abu Dhabi. That's the closest one we have. India doesn't have its own either. Not that I would like, India is a whole different universe, but even a place as close as India doesn't have that, like, a festival where people fly in, like one dedicated thing. Yeah. But the rest of the world does. Almost every city in America has that.
Yeah.
And Sydney and Melbourne have it. Obviously, Edinburgh has it.
Yep.
Two different formats, but like now in the Gulf, as you would know, there is actually 3 different major seasons of comedy. It's Dubai, Abu Dhabi competing with each other, and Riyadh just started. And if you're looking at Riyadh this year, it's the same, it's just how the Gulf people do it. It's just like, who is everybody? Bring them all.
Yes.
And so you're looking at the Riyadh season, and, a bit of a tangent, but like 10 years ago, when you're looking at like, Saudi opening up and stuff, you would not think that this year they have Whitney Cummings coming. Like literally, she is on the bill. And Whitney is filthy. She's, super funny, but like her brand of comedy, like Whitney Cummings is performing in Riyadh. What the fuck is going on? But, I don't care about like the, the moralistic, whatever, the culture versus whatever. It's just like, just from a pure comedy promotion point of view, I'm like, this is great.
Yes.
She might not be the right fit for that market, but it doesn't mean that the appetite is not there to scale things up.
Yeah.
And we have, Hong Kong is, I will say, and I can get in trouble for this, Hong Kong is way cooler than Riyadh. I've been to both places. Hong Kong is way cooler.
Hong Kong is by far one of the most amazing cities in the world.
100%.
It's got everything. You know, it's got the culture, the nature, like the topography is just out of this world.
Yeah.
The convenience, it's got optionality. You can go very expensive, you can go very cheap, right? But it's got those influences of the international Western mix in what is otherwise a Chinese city. And that's beautiful because it's so damn hard to replicate. So I think anything that Hong Kong can do to preserve it and magnify that DNA, it's just going to make Hong Kong that much more successful.
Agreed. We're super excited to have you on board, man. Thank you so much for, first of all, agreeing to do the show and, you know, being part of the comedy season that I know these are also what we're recording now are records for how this started versus hopefully how it will, you know, be much, much bigger in the future. So thanks for taking a chance on the first one with us. September 21st, Sunday, is when Ben Quinlan performs his one-man show, the Ben Quinlan, the theater special at the Box in West Kowloon. We'll see you guys there. The link is obviously in the description. Ben and I are gonna quickly record he doesn't even know that yet, a 15-minute Patreon where we talk shit about everybody, as we usually. He's giving me a face. And I'll try not to get him lose. You know what? If you lose 2 of your 18 jobs, that's not that bad, right? Because of us shooting this shit.
As long as it's not my own business.
No, you'll be fine. But Ben, thank you so much for doing this. I obviously had to come to your office because I know you're a super busy guy. So I always appreciate your time. But guys, come see Ben on the Sunday, September 21st at the Box. And we'll see you next week or on the Patreon. Patreon.com/OhoPod. Rest of the comedy season schedule is also in the notes down below. See you guys next week.